Jimmy Garoppolo had another solid to decent game on Sunday, but the 49ers lost to the Atlanta Falcons. Kyle Shanahan, a lot of conversation around him. Who cares, man? The Yankees are going to the American League Championship Series. New Sprint Right Option podcast starts now.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Right Option podcast. Oh my goodness, we are live. I can still only hear out of one of my ears, but that's okay. We're good enough to run a podcast. New episode, Sprint Right Option podcast. I am Andrew Pasquini, joined as always by resident Yankee fan, Jason Aponte. He's probably feeling pretty good right now. Huh, Jason?
The spirit of Derek Jeter lives, and he's right behind me over my shoulder. You know, real quick, before we get into the football stuff, you know, when I talk about baseball, you guys said a lot of things. The Yankees are sliding. Oh, they're not going to make it. Oh, man. Where's that Dodgers fan that was telling me about, was flashing that Mickey Mouse ring, and now will not compete for a real ring?
Yeah.
And it's so funny how things work, isn't it? What I want to tell you is this. Stop hating, grab a seat, and watch the two best teams in the two best teams in baseball right now are about to go at it to see who wins the World Series. That Padres Phillies series is for the second place holder.
Hey.
Who's going to win it is who is going to win this ALCS. But I heard it all. I heard it all from all of you. So now it's funny. I haven't seen a Dodgers fan in here in a minute. What happened? Wait, Andrew, I don't really follow baseball like that. Did the National League, are they not in the National League Championship Series?
You know, I'm not a Giant, or I'm a Giants fan. I'm not a Dodger fan. I don't follow them too closely, but I believe they lost to a team they consider like the little brother in the Southern game. Because like nobody cares about the Angels except maybe like Rich Madrid. He's the only one who really, and he doesn't even care about them.
No, he doesn't really care.
I've heard the last 2 years about how the Dodgers are better than the Padres and all that stuff, but I mean, listen.
Well, look. One thing. Let me put. This is a football podcast. But let me get one more in. Let me get one more in. Let me put my Spanish hat on because I am Spanish. Padres means father. Fathers, the fathers of the Dodgers and the fathers of the Guardians. I would be chilling if the Guardians fans didn't pop so much shit.
I know. I was gonna say, listen, this is a football podcast, but I could spend the whole 45 minutes to an hour here talking about the demise of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So probably shouldn't get me rolling too hard on that. But yeah, man, exciting times for baseball. Baseball is hot in the streets, as the kids would say. Be careful. I'm a big Bryce Harper guy, so be careful talking about those Phillies. I love Bryce Harper's my favorite player. We're not going to slander the Phillies too hard until they make the World Series, and I'll let Jason talk all his shit about the Phillies all he wants. Yes, but we are here to talk San Francisco 49ers football.
I'm happy, and now you want to bring me to the place where it's not so happy, right?
Dude,
like it's.
If we want, we could just say F everybody in the chat. We could just talk baseball the whole time. We can ignore the depressing stuff.
No, shout out to everybody in here, man. Appreciate all of you guys. We're just joking around. I'm just excited. It's literally the game just ended. The Yankees were down 2-1 in Atlanta. It didn't look good. Shout out to the Guardians, man. Aside from that Naylor dude, he's a scrub. All of those other guys actually are worthy of, a lot of praise. They played very well. And unfortunately, the 49ers did lose. But make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, please.
I heard you went to a concert on Sunday.
I did. Little Baby performed at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Didn't know that there was a football game going to be played there. It was incredible, man. Little Baby, if you guys don't know, is one of my favorite rappers. It was incredible. And then they just played a football game.
There we go. So that's Jason's breakdown of Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Best stadium I've ever been to, hands down.
It looks very nice. I've never been, but I need to go.
Best.
So obviously Niners, they fall 28-14 in Atlanta. Where's Avatar at? He tried to tell us 3 weeks ago.
He got it.
Avatar.
I'm sorry, buddy. And I want to jump out in front of this. There's a lot of talk about accountability for this team, for the coach, for the quarterback, and whoever steps to the podium. I am about to take accountability. I accept full blame for this 49ers loss. It was my fault that I overlooked the Falcons, and I apologize. And I will tell you this. You have never seen a podcaster work harder than I am. You have never seen a podcaster who is going to do right the rest of the time than me. God bless and go. Oh, that's a Tim Tebow thing. Sorry.
Well, it's good. It's a good thing I'm here because I'm your accountability buddy. I would hold you accountable for things like that as well. But you hold me accountable as well. It works. But yeah, we absolutely look past the Atlanta Falcons, and honestly, I think that's kind of my take. Is part of the reason the Niners lost this game is because the Falcons are so boring. I mean, they had one big play. I think it was the Mariota 20-yard run. They had another decent, like, I felt like the Falcons just four-yarded the Niners to death. That's almost what it felt like. They had a handful of decent sized plays, yes, but up until the Niners 16-play 8-minute drive with down 2 scores in the fourth quarter, the Falcons had like a 15-minute time of possession advantage. They were really dominating the time of possession, and the Falcons, dare I say it, the Falcons beat the Niners. Like they just beat the Niners. I don't think it was the Niners did anything wrong. Well, I mean, there's things here and there they did wrong.
Oh, yes. We'll talk about what they did wrong.
They did things wrong here and there, but I think the Falcons just came out. They had a game plan. They executed, and they beat the Niners.
Yeah, shout out to Arthur Smith. He out Shanahan. He did literally what we thought this run game was supposed to be. I mean, when you watch the tape, there's linemen getting to the second level, putting hands on safeties and that stuff. Like it's just look at times, and I know it's hard for 49er fans. You want to look at and you want to blame somebody on your team. And sure, there are things that the 49ers could have cleaned up, done better. Clearly, there's a lot of mistakes, and there's mistakes in every single game that lead to a loss. But sometimes it's okay to say that team was better than you were today. Absolutely. And they were in almost every single facet. In almost every single facet of the game. Yeah. And we're going to talk about a lot of the talking points that have been floating around and, what's got people all riled up. But at the same time, it's okay to say that the Falcons played a very good game and they actually executed their game plan. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it. Yeah. And that's really what I was going to say. Perfect. The Falcons beat the Niners. It's okay. Now the Niners, we'll talk about the Chiefs, obviously, on Friday. We don't have to cross that bridge yet because that feels like a very scary bridge to cross right now. Jason, I think I liked the going position by position thing we did last week. So I think we're going to run with that. Let's start with the quarterback. We're just going to go in order because that's what we did. I thought Jimmy Garoppolo was fine. I thought he was good. I thought a lot of things went against him on Sunday. Obviously, 2 interceptions doesn't look great. One, I don't care. Hail Mary at the end of the half. I don't care. That'll happen. Guy made a play, whatever. Second one, sure, on Jimmy. 2 drops, two huge drops. The Ray McLeod felt like it may or may not have been a touchdown. The Charlie Warner,
shout out to Avatar, man. Shout out to Avatar. No.
Avatar.
It's not. We never thought you were bashing in any way.
Once.
You were absolutely level-headed in your analysis. I wanted to make sure that we gave you your flowers because you were absolutely right, man. You deserve it. You deserve all the praise. You got it.
We never once thought you were going against us. We like people keeping us in check because sometimes we do like to hype up the Niners quite a bit. We love you guys keeping us in check. Avatar, shout out. You got it. You've been telling us for 3 weeks. Don't
Nailed
say
it.
The Falcons.
Nailed it.
But 2 drops. The Ray McLeod play, maybe a touchdown. Charlie Warner would have been a 25-yard gain, whatever it may be. He had another very good throw on the famous 8-minute drive to Brandon Ayuk that got called back by Jake Brendel. I believe it was a holding. Brendel got called for like 3 penalties that drive, so I apologize if I forget which penalty it was. The run game was almost non-existent, but that in part was because they were trailing most of the game. A lot went against Jimmy Garoppolo this game, and I felt that he played pretty well through it. And this for the fact that how bad this game went, it was only a 2-score game, I felt was not kind almost because I felt like it could have been bigger than what it was. But yeah, I felt Jimmy Garoppolo was pretty good.
He played fine in this game. Jimmy was Jimmy. Again, I feel like we're going to be repeating ourselves this entire year. There's, the first drive, you see George Kittle running down the field. Jimmy looks at him, doesn't let it rip. Okay, that's Jimmy. I don't get mad at those things anymore. But the drops are still there. The Ray McLeod thing, he stumbles out. It's like a fraction of a minute off. That's probably one of Jimmy's prettiest deep balls I've ever seen. And then Charlie Warner has literally the easiest throw and just a dart, like right on him. And for a lot of people that are like, well, why don't you scheme that up for Debo or Ayuk or Kittle? Real quick, just come close, guys. Come close because I'm going to say it slowly. We're going to do ASMR again. The reason those guys were open is because everyone's looking at everyone else.
Yeah.
And it's smart. They used the defense. They used what the defense thought they knew about the 49ers against them. That's what Kyle Shanahan does very well. He comes out of things that are in formation, and you think a play's coming, and he runs something completely different out of it. So when you see Charlie Warner on the field, you're like, they're never going to throw the ball to him. He's a blocking tight end. I don't care if you are a blocking tight end. You're in the NFL. Catch the damn ball. Ray McCloud's on the field. They might throw a screen. Oh, no, it's to Ray McCloud, and it's a bomb, and he dropped it. So, again, when people have issues with Kyle Shanahan, and I've got issues with Kyle Shanahan, trust me.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get to that.
Oh, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Trust me, I'm not going to let him slide.
No.
It's at the same time, it's like you guys are like, well, not you guys. Many people. Oh, where's the genius? That's genius. Yeah. That's genius. Is it his fault that they dropped the pass that was wide open, that he schemed wide open, right? Like, so, again, you're frustrated, right? And everyone after losses is looking to point the finger at something. You got to figure out what it is to blame about a loss. You got to figure it out, right? We have to focus our anger at somebody. I feel like not many people are throwing it at Jimmy. That's good. Shout out to all of you people that realize that, hey, he didn't necessarily play bad in this game.
Yes.
But everybody has kind of shifted the blame now to Kyle Shanahan. And trust me, I have criticisms.
Yes.
Blame is a complete different thing.
Yes. I think it comes like just back to what we said at the start. The Falcons beat the Niners, and that's okay to say. I don't know if we necessarily need to throw blame anywhere. I mean, I would, if we were to power rank like the blame, Jeff Wilson to me would be higher on the blame list, and Kyle Shanahan would be higher on the blame list.
Talk about it.
Jimmy Garoppolo, because turnovers like that just can't happen. And especially for resulting in, obviously Jeff Wilson doesn't control his fumble turning into a touchdown, but the fumble inside, what was that, at the 25-yard line? So they're already in plus territory if they just fall on the ball.
On my side of the field.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I know this is Twitter, so we're just generally complaining about what Twitter is and everybody having their reactions. It's okay. Like, as Jason said, the Falcons beat the Niners. I don't think there's much blame to go around. It just one team was more prepared. And I guess that might fall on the Kyle Shanahan blame. And the team has to execute.
Well, look, all right.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's it right there, right? All right. But here's the thing. Two things can be true. This offense, for whatever reason, is struggling because of execution. It's not play calling, and it's not your weapons.
Yes.
It's execution. And what I mean by that is, on one play, it's Ray McCloud stumbling out of a route that ends up in a drop. On another play, it's a missed block that allows somebody to come through and stop on a run play. On another play, it's a drop. On another play, it's a penalty, calling back a beautiful Jimmy Garoppolo throw to Brandon Ayuk. It boils down to execution. Now, having said that, execution does go towards the head coach. It does. A little bit, right? It does. Why aren't they prepared? Why are they dropping passes? And this is not me singling out Ray McCloud and Charlie Warner. George Kittle drops the ball. Deebo Samuel drops the ball. Brandon Ayuk drops the ball. So now we have to have a discussion about execution. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say, I think it kind of escaped me real quick. Execution. Now, here's the thing. It's week 6.
Yes.
Every single week, I feel like even after wins, we're back here talking about whether it is close. They're about to turn the corner. They're really close. That's the thing. Is more than anything, it's like it's week 6.
Yep.
There are 17 games, 18 weeks in a season. You are now a third of the season now. See that? 6, 12, 18. We can change it to that now. It's not quarters anymore. All right. Yeah, you like that? 6, 12, 18. We're a third of the way through the season, and we're still talking about the same things with the offense. That's where the frustration comes from, and I will not blame you for feeling like that.
No. Yeah, no, and I think part of it too is I just think the NFL as a whole stinks. Like, I think that, like, I posted a meme and it was half joking, half serious, where I said playoff teams, and it was like a list of like 6 teams, and then teams that stink. The other 26 teams, I guess, would be the math. Like, this isn't just a Niner exclusive problem.
Real quick,
this is almost an NFL problem.
It is. Real quick, just to let you know, offense is down everywhere, and I think we need to start giving credit to defense now. Okay, because this league has been an offensive league for a long time, but now the tide is shifting. And this was the best explanation on a tweet I saw. I want to cite the name, I just can't remember off the top of my head. I'm too excited with Yankees and now talking about this. Through 6 weeks, this is the lowest amount of teams that have scored 30 points in the last 10 years, 25 games have had 30 points in it or something like that, to that effect. And it pales in comparison to the other years. Like, it's not like, oh, it was 25 this year, it was 27 last year. No, it was like 25 this year and like 42 last year. Mm-hmm. And the year before that in 2020, it was like 49 and 50. So there is something going on across the league. Having said that, I don't care what goes on across the league. We need to start talking about this team. This team is all that matters. This team needs to find a way to get their offense back. And Jay Guile, thank you for the donation. Would we lose if there were no fumbles, drops, key penalties? Game would be a lot closer because there were 7 points that were up there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you just want to talk about one of the drops versus the fumble, that's a 14-point swing there, right?
Liam, thank you for the donation, buddy. But
appreciate it. We're not at the tight end portion yet, but no. Thank you for the donation, Liam.
Thank you for the donation, Liam. That's it. We're just gonna say no. Nothing.
We got our James Garoppolo talk out. I think we
played fine.
There.
Played fine.
Played fine.
Played
Nothing
fine.
wrong with it.
Played fine.
No qualms. No complaints.
If you're gonna get mad at him, for missing that fourth down on that 8-minute drive, whatever. Like, that's fine. But that game was over at that point because the 49ers gave up. And I've got a rant to go on about that. But go for it.
Beautiful. Okay, let's go to the run game, and this will be pretty short because there wasn't much of a run game. The Niners combined for 16 carries for 50 yards. Obviously, the Jeff Wilson fumble, and I wrote. I don't know, Jason. I don't know if you know about this. We both write for NinersNation.com. Go check it out. I put Jeff Wilson as one of my losers. And I could have said the whole run game because it was really a struggle. I specifically said Jeff Wilson because of the fumble. Again, he doesn't control that the touchdown happened. The touchdown happened. It sucks. You can't be fumbling in that situation, especially when you are the number one running back on a team that's really struggling with running back depth right now. Deebo Samuel's still getting a lot of carries. Tevin Coleman's the second running back. We appreciate it, Liam. I don't want to harp too much on the run game because it was a playing from behind most of the game thing, but that fumble, I just can't get past.
I do.
Go ahead. Two
things. First of all, the biggest loser in this game is my revenge game narrative. Tevin Coleman, what happened? What happened? Dog, three carries for 6 yards. My goodness, I didn't play. And you had 6 more yards than I did. But here's what I want to harp on real quick. Kyle Shanahan has been known to send off players for the slightest of things. Yes. A fumble here, a missed block there, a drop pass there. You might be out of here. I get it. You probably can't send Jeff Wilson away because of where you're at. But the accountability 1 through 52 is not there. It's just not there. It's not. It is not. It is not. One guy fumbles, you run him right back out there. Matt Breida fumbles, send his ass to the shadow realm. Dante Pettis misses a block, fumbles on a special teams, cut his ass and send him somewhere else. Look, there needs to be some accountability. Look, if Kyle Shanahan wants to do the hard ass thing, right? Like Boone from Remember the Titans, who would be perfect. And I will break my John Brown hind parts. If you want to be that. 1 through 52, be that. But if you're going to let it slide for 1, you can't go hard on 52. I don't like that portion of it. If you are going to set the precedent that fumbles will not be tolerated, missed blocks will not be tolerated, missed blocks that allow sacks and mistakes will not be tolerated, then it has to be your star player all the way down to your worst player. And that's the part that bothers me is there's this little group of Kyle guys that can get away with whatever it is that they want. And Jeff Wilson's been very good this year. I'm not piling on him. This is more about Kyle Shanahan and the way he runs this ship. It's like if I worked at a job and I had a manager, right, who every single time, I bent one of the papers that I handed in to him and he's all over me. But a guy hands his whole booklet in with 9 missing papers, but you don't say anything to him, I'm going to have a problem with that. Yes. And it's not fair. So again, Kyle, if you want to be this hard-ass guy, be it. Not mad at you. Bill Belichick does it all the time. One of his best players fumbles, get your ass on the bench, and I don't care. You might not play for 4 weeks.
He's cut people for less.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But this whole idea of you let a touchdown happen and it's just all right, Jeff, get on back out there. You got it. Guarantee you if Tevin Coleman would have fumbled that football, he probably would have sent his ass to the locker room. Again, man, it's just look, I don't mind the approach, but can it just be down the middle? That's it. Down the middle, man. For real. And Jay Guayo, again, man, thank you for the donation. Positives are solid. Progress of Banks and Burford. One thing I want to say, and we haven't even got to the offensive line real quick because Aaron Banks has been incredible.
Aaron Banks has been incredible.
But there's still like, I was watching the tape because you're at a football game. You really can't like digest everything, right? Yeah. You got crazy people yelling at you. You're yelling, all that stuff. Okay.
Little babies rapping.
Little baby rapped it like at a timeout. Like I was just like, this is incredible. This is the best thing I've ever seen. But Daniel Brunskill's still on the field at right guard. He pops in and out. This isn't a platoon. This isn't baseball where you're like, hey, today you play right field. Tomorrow he'll play right field. We're trying to. So what's the plan here with Daniel Brunskill? What's the plan here with Burford? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, Brunskill. Oh, God, so many snaps on
so
the offensive
weird.
line. We're not even on offensive line yet, but
right. And then they're like, "Oh, just please, can you play right tackle because McGlinchey gets injured?
McGlinchey got hurt. Yeah, I just wait. Like, obviously, Shanahan's never going to tell us. Okay, we'll skip receivers. We'll go to offensive line real quick.
It's a good segue
here. I like Shanahan isn't responsible to tell us this. I just wish he would tell us the reason of what the rotation is. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't know why it's Burford on certain drives, Brunskill on others. Like, it's a really interesting platoon. It's not like, oh, this driver, because like it can't be as simple as this driver going to run more, so we're going to use the guy we trust more and runs. Because then other teams who live, die, breathe,
it's all this stuff,
they'll know. So, like, what is the rhyme or reason? Is it because you felt Burford got off the line too slow on a specific play, so now Brunskill's gonna like? Maybe Brunskill and Burford know what the rotation is themselves, and that's why it hasn't been an issue. I think it's a very curious thing because I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. And then I've gone this whole thing. I haven't said Aaron Banks' name. Amazing, great game. I don't think he allowed a pressure. He can only get better because Trent Williams is coming back ideally Sunday. He can only get better from this point.
Yeah,
not allowing a pressure. Like that's amazing from Aaron Banks, especially with all the talk we had about him last year. I mean, sky's the limit for him right now. I feel very good with Aaron Banks.
Right. Aaron Banks is great, man. And he's showing a lot of IQ. I mean, just go to Brad Graham's page and he'll break it down for you better than I could. And I'm not going to rip that off from him. Keith, thank you for the donation. I agree. I think everyone should be treated fair. That doesn't mean the same, though. I understand that portion of it, too, as well. It's just I'm a little bit – I'm just confused about what it is. Does a fumble mean that you're going to get cut or sent away? Or does a fumble for one of your premier players just mean, hey, buddy, don't do that again. Don't do that again. And it's like, why are you coming down hard on the 52nd guy? There's a reason he's the 52nd guy.
I'm just saying, man, if Jordan Mason fumbles that ball, because Jeff Wilson fumbles the ball 3 plays later, the Niners went pass, and then a run to Jeff Wilson. If Jordan Mason's the one who fumbles that ball, Jordan Mason's not seeing the ball the rest of the game. And that's kind of the inconsistencies that we're talking about. It's interesting because, Kyle definitely has this guy. And I think that's
you got it. You got it. I mean, you got me. You got me, J Daddy. Ponte thinks everybody should be traded. Don't know how you surmise that.
I think you stumbled on your words and said traded.
Oh, whatever.
Well, we should trade everybody for Christian McCaffrey. Call it a season. But
no, Brian Burns. He can play. He can kick. He can kick. He can return punts. He can run. He play running back. He can do it all, man.
Yes.
Wait a minute. A Rams fan who was excited said that Brian Burns is better than Nick Bosa, and I want to tell him that drugs are bad.
Based off of Brian Burns posting a picture of a ram.
Yeah, which he later followed up with like posting a picture of the sea and a flamingo.
Well, per Jordan Elliott, he also followed up with a video of Jimmy.
Oh, that's such a good troll. I woke up this morning and I saw it's so good, man. It's so good.
Yeah, man. Offensive line as a whole was fine. Mike McGlinchey hurt. Obviously, he should be back.
Not good.
Sunday. Have you seen anything on McGlinchey's injury? Is he supposed to play Sunday?
So it's a calf.
It's a little early on update.
It's a calf, right now. So if I could do my call, well, McGlinchey's got a calf. It's day to day. We feel pretty good at where he's at, but we're gonna reevaluate him in a few days. And I mean, we feel good where he's at, and we hope to have him on Sunday.
There you go. The Kyle Shanahan exclusive right there. Offensive line, we're good. We got it. The receivers. If you would have told me, Jason, on Friday when we record, or Thursday when we pre-recorded it, we're live right now. Hi guys, we can talk to you guys. If you told me that Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and Deebo Samuel would combine for 23 receptions for 245 yards,
30 targets, 30
I'd feel
targets,
very good.
30 targets.
I would feel very good.
30 targets, 31 targets. You get them the ball. Get them the ball. Do you guys realize that that's not exactly the formula? I mean, just look.
Good.
No. You got it.
I'm going to die on a hill, and I've said it before, and I've kind of strayed away from it. I'm going back to it. Brandon Ayuk is the best receiver on this team, bar none. Stop, full start. I get Deebo Samuel's great. He's a great running back. It's fantastic. It's good. Wide receiver 1 on this team is Brandon Ayuk.
Hey,
because he's a receiver.
Brandon Ayuk.
What?
All right.
What I said?
All right. Brandon Ayuk wins. Brandon Ayuk won on a whip route, and he got the ball. Love it. Love to see it. Good for him, man. He is really good. I think this conversation, I think we all know how good these weapons are. And
yes.
I don't think we have to really, go too in depth with it. I think the conversation has kind of shifted into what is the run-pass ratio. But I would ask anyone who is questioning that, oh, you need to run the ball more than pass. Cool. That sounds like perfect world stuff. Guess what? The NFL is not perfect world. Now, when you're losing, when you're down 14-0, you don't stick to the run.
What's the stat? It's is it 20 plus runs? Shanahan's like something and
It's 30. It's 30 plus.
Is runs. It 30 plus run? 30 plus runs. It's something and I don't remember the number. If it was that simple, why don't the Niners just run the ball for the first 30 plays and say, "Well, we won the game"? It's weird. It's almost, not as simple. It's almost like you run the ball more when you're winning.
When you're trying to drain the clock, which they did at the end of the game at the wrong time. But yes, it's almost like
that was a beautiful drive if you're up 2 scores.
Right. Oh my God, that's exactly. That's how you close it out, man. It's so funny. Kyle closed the game out, but he closed it out for Atlanta. Finally, gave him one.
Yeah, if only he did that against the Patriots.
No, but hey, look. If you can't laugh, you'll cry. Like it doesn't matter at this point. But yeah, like again. This correlation to it's like people this and not everybody. Our viewers are the smartest in the world, right? Like they understand exactly what we're talking about. This correlation to just get to 30 rushes. You could rush the ball 30 times for 30 yards and score 0 points. Doesn't mean you won the game.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of the 30 rushes implies that you sustain drives when you needed to pass on third down and continue to keep the game and control the game. So it's not like get to 30 and you win. That's not the magic number. Like, that is not the magic number, man. Like, it's incredible to me. And PV50 says, what about a low-scoring game? That's fine. But, I think that more of that, and this is what the part that I'm trying to talk about is, you're talking about a game and you're giving context. That's when the rushing attempts should be to the forefront, is when you're able to give context, like either the weather was poor, that's why you ran the ball 35 times, or, the game was just, you couldn't pass the ball because they were doing something and you were doing so well with the run. Like, there needs to be added context as opposed to the whole 30 rushes and you win. Like, I don't understand that portion of it.
I'm sorry if you guys hear a leaf blower in the back. Apparently, they're leaf blowing in front of my apartment at 5:30.
He's cooking right now.
Yeah, man. Like, listen, I understand that they want certain receivers to get targets. It's just not that easy sometimes, and really the only reason it happened on Sunday is because the Niners were playing behind 2 scores for the entire second half, and that's where these targets come from. Now, do I want a closer ratio? The Niners threw the ball 40. Garoppolo threw the ball 41 times to 16 rushes. Obviously, I want that ratio.
Not ideal. You don't want Garoppolo throwing the ball 40 times.
That's a stop right there. I don't even care what the ratio is.
Right.
But the only reason that ratio exists is because the team was playing from behind the whole game. And that's what it is. This is not – if you ask Kyle Shanahan – like, if I went into Kyle Shanahan's press conference and said, hey, Sunday against the Chiefs, are you looking for that 41 pass to 16 run ratio? he's gonna kick me the hell out. Like I'm not even gonna get another question ever again.
I mean, I don't have time to really explain it to you guys. I mean, I'd love to sit here and educate you, but yeah, that's not ideal. That's not what you want to do. I mean, in the context of the game, maybe, but we got a lot of confidence in those 53 guys in that room, and it is what it is. I think it's the sharp inhale that you got to keep doing.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I can't do it. You got the Kyle down perfectly. I can't do it, but yeah, I like for the ratio people out there, it's hard when you're down 2 scores the entire second half, and that's just where it is. That's what happens when you're coming from a Jimmy.
You got to go soon, so we got to move on, right?
Hey, I'm enjoying. I got a softball game tonight. It is. We're playing Flockerton, whoever that.
Shout out to my boy BV50. Oh shit, JC Montana wants to get blocked. Shout out to you for getting blocked for saying that nonsense. Whatever team you like, you're not an Astros fan, is not playing, and I don't accept slander from anybody whose team is not playing in the ALCS or NLCS, young man.
Great time to segue to the defense. We talked about the receivers. We talked about the entire offense. Hey, if you're new to the podcast, make sure to subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, Jason Aponte's YouTube channel. It's a great one. It's my favorite. Every time I open my computer, it's the first website that pops up is Jason Aponte's YouTube channel.
Niners are still in first place.
Yeah, I think the Niners are in first place.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's talking. Yeah, we all can't play the Carolina Panthers every week, young man. And the only reason the Rams aren't going to lose is because they have a bye week.
I mean, if we want to talk comparisons, say the Niners beat the Rams 2 weeks ago.
Trade Cam Akers.
And then dealt with the Panthers pretty easily. The Rams seem to struggle just a little bit with those Panthers. Just a little bit. But anyway.
Wait. Stafford threw a pick 6 to Dante Jackson? Oh.
Anyway.
Strange. Jimmy Garoppolo would never.
Peyton McDermott, go Reds. We love the Reds. So
hey.
Baseball fans.
The Reds and the Guardians are playing the same amount of games tomorrow, so maybe they can meet up for tea time. I like it.
Yeah, let's talk defense. And to me, where the game, and I even said this in my article, NinersNation.com. Don't know if you know we write. I think the Niners lost the game against the Atlanta run game. Tony, thank you for the donation. We appreciate it.
Love you, Tony.
We love you, Tony. Day one, Tony. We love it.
Always.
I think the Niners lost the game because of the Atlanta run game. Atlanta dominated the game.
Yes.
They had pretty much the exact opposite ratio. They had 40 rushes to 14 passes. And it didn't help that Mariota only threw one incomplete pass, 13 for 14. But the Falcons consistently averaged 4.2 yards per carry. We like to call that staying ahead of the sticks. And that's where a lot of the time of possession thing. I know, as I said, the time of possession was a lot closer than it felt. It ended up being a 7-minute differential between the two teams.
Cooking.
We love you, Chris. Thank you. Rams don't have a chat room. Need at least 2 people. The time of possession felt a little more skewed than it actually was 7 minutes. As I said, the Niners 8-minute drive at the end of the game kind of brought it closer. But the Falcons ran the ball consistently well. They had big runs when they needed it, specifically the 3rd and 12 with Mariota at the end of the first half. That finished, and I believe they scored a touchdown. Yeah, they scored a touchdown, then they kicked a field goal. The Niners just couldn't stop the run, and that's play 3rd and 13 was a backbreaker. The Niners couldn't stop the run, and that was maybe a little bit of a surprise because of how good the Niners defense has been. But you need to add in the 2 caveats that the Niners were missing Javon Kinlaw, Eric Armstead, and Nick Bosa on that line. And the Falcons are a very good running team. They're number 3 in the league. They might be higher now because of the game on Sunday. I haven't checked since. Yeah. I don't have to look at the Falcons anymore. I can forget they exist. I'm on to the Chiefs now. The Niners really lost this game with their poor running attack and their poor run defense. And that's what it was. And
the other thing is Marcus Mariota executed his game plan. He had 1 incompletion. But yeah, I want to go back to this because I did have a good thing to say. So 3rd and 13. You know what's really crazy? Yeah, you can look at this defense and say, hey, if I told you a starting defense, no matter the caliber, was going to miss their free safety, their cornerback 2, their linebacker 3, both interior defenders, this Nick Bosa guy, and then they would lose their cornerback 1, then they would lose Samson Ebukam for stretches, then they would lose their strong safety for stretches, who's in the concussion protocol, by the way. If you guys wanted to be more sad, what would you say? And I think they did the best that they could at the same time. But, the thing is, it's like, it's okay to say that the Atlanta Falcons executed their game plan, but here's the thing. The 49ers, even on 3rd down when they're fully healthy, they've been struggling getting off the field. They have. And that's where those are the backbreakers. 3rd and 13. You have 3rd and 13 and he picks it up with his legs. Like, that's a backbreaker. Yep. And then one more thing that's a little bit of salt on the wound. Kyle Pitts scores his first American touchdown because he never had one on United States soil, only in London. And every single Falcons fan that was standing around me made sure to let me know that that was his first touchdown outside of London town.
There you go. I mean, they've been waiting for it. It's
a running joke for them. They were like, it was a running joke. And I was like, I'm so glad that it had to happen against Samuel Womack and the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, but yeah, man, the Niners just couldn't get a stop when they needed. It was unfortunate. It was the worst game we've seen from the Niners.
Too bad the Rams needed a game-winning interception because the Falcons were driving on you. 85 Bears, huh? Rams are cooked, my boy. Van Jefferson ain't saving you, and Andrew Whitworth ain't walking through that door, pimping. And you're about to trade Cam Akers.
And Odell Beckham's going to be a Niner.
And Odell Beckham's going to be a New York Giant because guess what? The Giants are better than the Los Angeles Rams at 5-1. You don't want to see them. You do not want to see the New York Football Giants.
Let's tread that water lightly because the Giants are better than the Niners right now. We got to tread that very lightly.
Maybe, but that doesn't fit my narrative. Just go with what I said, man. Go with what I said.
Yeah, man. Listen, we don't have too much time to talk about the defense because, as I said, I do have to go in a little bit here. I'm sorry, it's a shorter episode, guys. But yeah, obviously the injuries hurt, man. I mean, it was Bosa, Armstead, Kinlaw. Shout out Samson Ebukam, by the way, because he came in. We were concerned about the sore Achilles. He had to be helped off the field a couple times, and he kept coming back in. So shout out him. You lose Mooney Ward. You obviously don't have Emmanuel Mosley. Talanoa Hufanga gets a concussion. Like things like that. It's very tough. Thank you for the donation, Jay Aguayo. Wishlist Darren Payne or Derek Brown. Stay blessed.
Always been, Matt. You just stopped being a baseball fan way earlier than I did this year. That's why it's a little bit different.
I stopped watching. Hand up. I stopped watching baseball in the
Andrew said he stopped watching. Andrew stopped watching in July.
Yeah, I had the excitement of maybe Juan Soto a Giant, maybe not, and then that disappeared, and I was like, nope, I am out.
Hey, look again. If
I could only watch Mike Yastrzemski hit pop up so many times.
If your team is one of the final four left, I will listen to your talk. If your team is not here, don't want to hear it. You don't get to say nothing. No.
All right, so we got the defense out of the way. Let's have it. Real quick, just a quick. I don't want to say hot seat yet because I'm not that point, but you know how with the old like gas stoves, you have to twist it to the spark and it would go click, 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 click. I think I don't think he's a Dodger fan because I don't think he would say that.
No, of course he's not a Dodgers fan.
But you know how when the old gas stoves, and maybe now I have an electric stove, so I don't know, when it would click, 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 and then it would catch. I think I'm at the point with Kyle Shanahan where I'm twisting the knob and it's clicking. I'm not saying he needs to be gone. I am officially concerned. That's where I am out. I'm not going to go as far as Kyle Shanahan. No, he's not. He can easily, if he beats the Chiefs, I'm going to forget I even said this. That's how off the Kyle Shanahan needs to go thing. I am slightly concerned. That's it.
And that's fair because we are a third of the way through the season. And again, every one of these losses against these inferior teams has us back here talking about the same exact thing, right?
Yes.
And this is what we've been talking about and why we've been kind of worried, right? Is your defense, which is going to be fine, by the way. Just this is a game that you chalk up to injuries and the fact that Atlanta just played a very good game. And obviously, when you have 7 points go the other way on a fumble, it gets tougher and tougher. The defense is going to be fine, but this was the point. This is the NFL. Offenses are going to get the better of your defense every so often. This was a chance for the offense to pick up the defense, and they couldn't. And look, I'm not going to crap on the play calling because, again, there's guys running wide open. The quarterback didn't throw it on the first drive. There were guys wide open. The quarterback ripped it right into them, and they dropped it. It's execution. It's execution at all levels, whether it's a penalty, whether it's a missed block, whether it's a drop. That all falls at the feet of the head coach. So I do want to make sure that I say that, okay? What I am about to go on a tangent about pisses me all the way off because the answer to the question in the press conference was even worse than what I feared. after I did my post-game show, which got reposted by Bleacher Report. That's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
It was about 9 minutes in the game. The 49ers have the ball, 2 scores, 9 minutes. 9 minutes is an eternity in football. Yeah, of course. With 3 timeouts.
2 scores? Nothing. That's nothing.
2 scores. So you need a score, you need to stop, you need to score. And I am screaming at the top of my lungs inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and clearly Kyle Shanahan didn't hear me, because if he did, he would have said, "Oh wait, Jay's right. You know, I gotta get going. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, move, go, go, go." I'm yelling, "Go, go, go, please." They huddling up. They're going slow. Whatever. It was the best 8-minute scoreless drive that I haven't seen. I mean, this is exactly like I said. If this was closing out the game, masterclass. But it was the other way. And then Kyle Shanahan walks up to the podium and says, "Well, you know, we did some no huddle stuff, and you know, we did huddle up, but we felt that we had a good tempo. We thought that we were going to get the ball back." And dude, come on. Look, I love you. You're not getting fired. I don't want you fired, because I remember what it was like before you got here.
Yeah. No, we don't. We're still very pro Kyle Shanahan.
Right. But come on, dude. It's the condescending answers after the game of, "Well, I know best, you don't." I am just an average football fan. I am just a guy who yells really loud and apparently sits next to people who sneak in fireball bottles into Mercedes-Benz Stadium and just passes it around the drink. Yeah, it was so good.
I love that. Fireball is not great, but like I love the
fireball.
Idea
not great, but it was free.
Free alcohol is the best alcohol.
But at the same time, man, stop condescending to everybody, man. Like, we didn't see the same exact thing. It almost felt like, I hate to say it, you were afraid to put the defense out there to have more injuries. Yeah. And that is what many people have said about how conservative you are and how you coach scared at times. I'm not going to say that, but those people that have those narratives, you just backed all of that up. Now, look. Is it fixable? Yes. But I'm tired of sitting here in front of you after week 6 and telling you it's fixable. They're close, because it's on the fucking tape. It is. It's on the tape. It's all there. Like, when I watched it again, I got even more mad. Yeah. I was just like, oh my God, it's all there. Whether it's a missed throw, whether it's a drop, whether it's a penalty, whether it's a missed block. There was run plays to be had that were just, if you hold your block for half a second more, there's a lane for you to run through. It's week 6. It's a quarter through the season. It's a third through the season. You've got to figure it out. And the worst part is you've got to figure it out now. You've got to figure it out right. Like, we don't have another week for you to mess around with this.
Schedule's not going to get any easier.
And you have to win games. I understand the NFC is slipping. It's the Eagles, the New York Football Giants, the Minnesota Vikings, who are 5-1.
Maybe the Cowboys with
Dak, right? Those are scary teams, right? Like, right? Everybody else is 3-3. I get it, but don't rest on your laurels on that, please. You have to start to get this offense rolling. Yeah. Now, we've seen this offense get hot in spurts, but what I want to see is, I don't care if you put up 30 on the Chiefs. I want you to win the game. What I want to see is consistency week to week. That's it.
Can I I'm just going to run with this narrative until I can. I think this is officially, like, I'm out of this narrative. Remember how I was like, hey, you know, Jimmy Garoppolo 3 games, technically his preseason, which makes the Falcons game like week 1 again. So maybe that's what, can I run that narrative just one last time, that this was like quote unquote week 1 offense? Yeah, I mean, in terms of the urgency, the Niners got the ball, 10:30 left in the game, own 1 yard line, down 2 scores. It's not the best situation, but it's doable. 2 scores, 10 minutes. That's no problem. I don't think I've ever watched a drive where the longer it went, my confidence in the Niners winning a game went down, because it was like, okay, 10 minutes, don't have to rush. It's fine. Take your time. 9 minutes. Hey, maybe a little urgency would be like cool here. But not yet. We don't need 8 minutes. Like, okay, like, let's start moving. And then you're 6 minutes left in the game, 5 minutes. They're still at midfield with 5 minutes left. And there just was no urgency at any point. For a 16-play, 80-yard drive, taking 8 minutes off the clock, down 2 scores, that's almost mind-numbingly bad. And I feel like if it was any other coach, Oh God, imagine if we had to do this podcast with Chip Kelly as a head coach and that happened. It would have been a blow up. And I think Kyle, yes, he does get yelled at quite a bit for things like this, but there is more good than bad from Kyle Shanahan. Unfortunately, this had to happen in Atlanta against a team that they should have beat. I'm not ready to say Kyle's not the guy anymore, because I still think he is. I think, and I saw somebody, hey, if you get rid of Kyle, who's the next option? I think the next option is D'Amico Ryans, right? Like, I think that's the easiest next option. But I'm nowhere near that point. It's not great. It's not ideal, but we've seen Kyle Shanahan do this where it just looks bad, and then the next week they turn it around. They literally every time they've beaten the Rams, the offense looks like garbage the week before. Mm-hmm. And then they come out and they're like, oh yeah, we figured it out. And like, it's so weird, because with this performance, I would not be surprised if the Niners lose by 4 scores to the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are that good. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the Niners just come out and win by 3 scores. Like, it's one of those weird things, because you can get literally either Kyle Shanahan on any given week.
And the last thing, because we have to go and we have to get this done. And shout out to everybody in here, over 100 people. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. I'm gonna get New York fast real quick with this one. For all the people that are yelling fire Kyle Shanahan, I want to remind you about what you said when Kyle Shanahan moved heaven and earth to draft Trey Lance. Oh my God, can you imagine Trey Lance with Kyle Shanahan? Now you are talking about firing Kyle Shanahan and bringing in who?
That would only mess up Trey Lance more.
And Sean Payton's not coming. Stop saying that. He's still property of the Saints, and he will be traded to the Dallas Cowboys once they flame out after the playoffs. There are no viable off the bat guys that you want with their hands on Trey Lance and his development. So I just want to leave you with that last portion. Say it as calmly as possible, not yelling. But if you were there talking about, oh my God, the run scheme with Kyle Shanahan and what he could do with a guy with that arm and those legs, who is the guy that will put it in that same ceiling that you felt at that time when he was drafted? That's the last thing I'll leave you with.
That's the last thing Jason's going to leave you with. Hey, we got 3 stars to do. So, Jason, we got to be quick. So here's how we're going to do it. We're just going to name a star. No explanation behind it. My 3rd star, Jimmy Garoppolo. Who's your 3rd star?
Charles Omenihu.
My 2nd star, Samson Ebukam. Who's your 2nd star?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Number 1, Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk.
There you go. Hey, Jason Aponte, congratulations to your New York Yankees. Go take care of the Houston Astros. As always,
let's go Niners and let's go Yankees. And if you hate the Yankees, you are sick. I hate it for you, but I love it for me. Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.